And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. On the latest Pop Culture Cosmos, Belinda and Robbie Ross, two great contributors of the LFB as far as the PCC is concerned. They shouted out their best and worst in pop culture of 2024, which you can catch right now on the Pop Culture Cosmos on YouTube and also as well wherever you get your podcasts. If you were a member, you could have seen that beforehand because I shared that to our members beforehand. But yes, you can see it right now on the PCC, wherever you get your podcasts. Also as well, Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Early in the new year, I want to go ahead and break down some of the playoff brackets with hopefully Joe, Sean, and Chris Ardieri. So we'll be doing that. Plus, we'll talk about our fantasy football seasons on Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Hopefully yours was better than mine. I think I'm going to win one and lose one. I think I'll end up being third place in one because I missed the semifinals. And, get some good luck there, but I think I may be winning a league in another. But we'll find out for sure. So coming up here on Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Also as well, of course, Joe Soros here. Go ahead and get his game today. Corrupt. Do yourself a good thing for the new year. Get yourself the fighting game Corrupt. COREUPT on Steam. Also as well, he is Mr. Simblades. It's simblades.com. And of course, also as well, Ox1947 at LakersBall.com. Our good friends, the Lakerholics crew, they're happy that a trade was done. Something was done from the office of Ron Palenka. Go ahead and hear what Laker Tom, Jamie Sweet, and the whole crew have to say at Lakerholics.com. Our good friend Stone Hansen, he is not too thrilled about the trade. And he explains why at report_record. Plus, also, you can check out his latest appearance. He is cheating on us on other podcasts, but you can go ahead and check out where at report_record. Yes, he is actually talking to other podcasts on occasion. So go ahead and check it out today. Right there for you on Twitter. Legend 350, also Alfred Esmond. Hopefully get those guys back in talking NBA. I know Alfred's Orlando Magic. I know he's pretty bummed about every time they have someone that leads them in scoring, they're doomed to injury. The latest is Jalen Suggs. Yes, we'll go ahead and catch up with him in the new year. I'm also hoping to get a hold of Mike Anguilano. He's been following us still on Twitter. If you are a long-time watcher, he is someone who is very familiar and comments on the scene going on for the Pistons and Cavs, who we play tomorrow night. So hopefully I can get him on in the near future to talk about the great success for the Cleveland Cavaliers as well. Also want to go ahead and mention that Empire Jeff TV, he covered the Lakers trade like we did. So go ahead. If you haven't checked him out yet, please go ahead and do so. Also as well, of course, our good friends, John McCallion channel, and also, of course, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Yo! All these great channels. Please like and subscribe, and make sure you give us the biggest subscribe of all by hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell. We are just 14 short of 2,000 subscribers. 14. Can we get 14, Joe, in the next 24 hours before the new year? Do you think we can do it? Do you think?
We would have to do a clickbait tomorrow.
Okay.
Then, yeah.
All right.
So think of something fake that we could put, and then we can go ahead and promote it, and we'll have some weird graphic where someone's like this, and then boom, like flies, moths to the flame.
Gustavo, I believe, we'll go ahead and talk about that in a minute, but I believe he will be, but he has already been notified by JJ. He'll be coming off the bench. So please go ahead, subscribe today. Also become a member for just $2.99. Not only do you get shout outs from us, you get inside stuff sent to you ahead of time before, like for instance, last week I dropped a video with me and Legend 350 for our members first. And then I also drop PCC videos from time to time, other videos as well. Plus, we drop articles. I heard a rumor that a certain Australian may be popping in with some articles that may be seen first by our members. So we'll go ahead and look out for that. But please go ahead, Become a member today for just $2.99 a month. If you do, or subscribe, or like, it is greatly appreciated. Well, we wanted to make sure we didn't get out of the day without telling LeBron James happy birthday. It is the big match
Birthday
4-0. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Joe is not singing, but happy birthday to LeBron anyways. Happy birthday to you. I just broke his eardrums with that. Yeah. All right. So it is LeBron James turning 40.
Club.
Yep. Father time. Still trying to defeat Father time. He had some words in practice saying that he could play at a high level for another 5 to 7 years, which I'm sure just warmed Joe's heart all up inside. But did he say that he would do it with the Lakers? He said he will end his career with the Lakers, but he will most not likely play that many years. He was just saying that he could if he wanted to. So all those LeBron haters out there, all the people who say like me, maybe we should move on at some point in time for LeBron James. Yeah, don't get too antsy about that. He's not going to play the actual 5 to 7 years, but just got us thinking. What happens if he wants to, or he changes his mind? We'll go ahead and talk about that. Plus, more thoughts on tomorrow's game against Cleveland and, of course, the trade that they made yesterday as well. I know someone here is now who I'd like to talk to in regards to that. But first up, first man here, it is, of course, Mr. Sinblades himself. It is, of course, Joe Soro. Joe, great to have you here. Danny, I will get you on here in a few minutes. Mr. Dan, I will get you on here in a few minutes. I will send that link out to you. Joe, your thoughts on LeBron turning 40? He is still a marvel at times as far as him playing on the court for a 40-year-old. I have said before and will say it again, no one at this age in the NBA has played at this high of level statistically, and I will leave it at that. I keep having arguments with people on it. I'm like, the statistics don't lie. He has enough spectacular games at this age, better than anybody, better than Jordan, better than Kareem, better than anyone out there. He still performs at a high level more often than any other player has at this age. It's in the books. It's in the stats. It's there. I didn't say it's all for the best. There's all the other drama and all the other things that he provides aside that ticks just as many fans as he has supporters, but it is LeBron James hitting 40 today.
So are you going to wrap that up, put it in your little saving box and pull it out for the rest of your life now?
I don't know what you mean by that, but
all these amazing statistics at the age of 40, are we supposed to be taking that to are we supposed to put a banner up in the rafters with that?
I'm not putting anything up in the rafters. I'm just giving you a chance to talk about LeBron James hitting 40.
Yeah, I don't care what his birthday is. All I care about is winning. And this is the first time I can remember not playing for a few days and dropping 2 slots in the standings. I don't know if you guys noticed that today.
Yeah, we noticed that.
Yeah.
But what about the birthday?
There's there's what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. There are 4 teams in the West right now with 13 losses. Another has 14. Wow. This is crazy. Unbelievable. There's a good chance that you'll have a winning record in the West as an 11 seed. Yeah. I don't know.
Close enough.
I'm looking at the next step as far as possibly getting another 14 subs before the end of the year. What would need to happen is we would probably need something to happen tomorrow morning that has, let's say, Sexton and Kessler coming to LA for a first round pick and some fillers. I'd say that would probably bring us 20 because we'd be on air probably for a few hours tomorrow. I'd be on air for a while. We're getting a lot of requests to be on air more. noticed that lately. I don't know. I guess 2-3 hours isn't enough.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If that's the case, we need to have 200,000 subscribers. We need to have 30,000, 40,000 people watching per game because it's just not monetarily feasible for all of us to be on this for even as long as we're on it now. So we're doing this out of courtesy to you guys.
Well, I don't know how. That's the other thing is I don't know how that. The shows they pay according to the show. They don't pay according to how many people are on the show.
Well, they pay. It's with ad revenue is based on the number of views.
Yeah, but divvying it up to one person versus 3, 4, whoever.
Well, again, the more successful we get. Right now, I don't make enough. If you see what I make from this channel, you would wonder why, or a lot of people would wonder why I'm still doing this at this point. I'm doing this because of courtesy to the individual audience out there.
Well, at some point you gotta kind of grind through it. Otherwise, if you stop, well, you guys notice everything.
I mean, I know somebody's asking us to be on more hours, and people you randomly will ask us that, but I'm like, okay, you guys were on 4 hours, you guys yesterday. We were also on 5 hours for the past 48 hours, and you guys are doing it, and again, we're all doing it for virtually nothing. So again, you got to
get the balance right too. Of you don't want to be on too much versus too little. I think you've got a really good balance. Like yesterday was a great day. You obviously did the emergency stream, which went really well. So yeah, I don't know. He's asking for more content.
It's a great thing when someone asks to listen to you more. I was more
definitely, no.
I get that, right. And that's appreciative, yes. But the realities of the fact is, when you're still a small YouTube channel, there are harsh realities that come with that. So, I mean,
and
you want us to be on the hour. You want us to be on this channel more. Find a lot more people to watch this show. We've advertised, we put it out there on social media. We advertise as best we can. We try to find the best algorithm things to hit this algorithm to get as many people to watch it. Get us as high as DTLF. Get us as high as Lakers Nation. Then, you know what? We'll be on, my gosh, we'd be a full-fledged.
Maybe we should ask. Channel. Maybe it'll be one of those things where, since it's LeBron's 40th birthday, maybe we could ask him for a favor to promote our show. Maybe it's
Kurt's right there.
It's one of those things like when at an Italian wedding where you can ask the father of the bride for a request that he can't refuse. Mm-hmm. Maybe because we all know LeBron thinks very highly of himself. In those regards, did Gerald disappear?
Yeah, I'm still on. Yeah. I'm still on.
Maybe we should do an offer he can't refuse. Hey.
Yeah, call up LeBron. Say, hey, it's your 40th birthday. Promote our show. The show where we talk smack about you, and then we can have the numbers that we need so we can talk more smack about you. What he'll probably do is he'll probably call somebody at Google and say, hey, get these guys off.
Next thing we're banned. But look, honestly, I don't really care about his birthday either. But the only thing I could say is, like, I'm nearly 40 myself. So I'm turning 40. G'day, Gerald, in May. So
I still don't believe that. I still don't believe that. Between you and Sean, I don't believe that. I'm sorry.
As in, I'm turning 50.
I think no, more like you guys are like look like you're in your mid-20s, still ready.
Yeah, turn it up. I get
still
that.
On the prowl.
The camera is not very good. You can't
legally, by the way. I want to just.
The only thing that sort of inspires me about him is sometimes when I am playing basketball and things like that, I do think to myself, there is a guy at my age doing it in the pros. That's the only thing I find inspiring about him. Joe, if I'm being honest, is just his athleticism at that age. Not so much his stats and that. I couldn't care less. If we don't win, I don't care. Hey, Danny.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Go ahead, Joe. You were going to say something?
Yeah, it's just...
You know what it's like to be 40, though. Like, it's pretty impressive what he can do.
Yeah, I remember when I turned 40, it was weird looking at the 4. That one was weird. 30 didn't trip me out. 20 didn't trip me out. 40 was like, really? I'm 40?
Yeah, yeah.
And now I'm going to be 50 in about 3 years and 3 months.
Yeah, don't remind me when I'm going to hit 6-0. So yeah, no, joy. Yes, wonderful.
Oh, well, I always think you got to be grateful whatever age you get to. So good on you, LeBron. Happy birthday, mate. But all we care about is tomorrow.
I'm just going to say this guy right here, this guy right over here, he has got a lot of Lakers paraphernalia. Look at that. Lakers mug, Lakers hat. He's wearing a Lakers jacket. There you go. Oh, no, yeah. Joe's going to show off his.
No, I got nothing.
Okay. You see how he does it? Okay, he comes in with a mug, but Joe has to always come in with something bigger.
Park mug.
And I'll just leave it at that. Also here today, good man
It's
indeed.
the natural way of things.
Yes, I couldn't imagine that being the case. But it is, of course, Dan, how you doing? JSJ is already popping in your channel. Great to have you here. Thank you, JSJ. Truly appreciate it. Kurt Affair also is here in the chat. Truly appreciate all of our mods. I want to wish them a happy and blessed 2025 as I do everybody else.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Yes, happy New Year to you as well, my friend. Hopefully a better year for your Cowboys, but I won't go there. So LeBron
is walking out the door.
Yes. So while you've got all that Laker regalia on, I wanted to ask you, LeBron James has hit 40 today. He hit
Happy
40.
birthday, LeBron.
Yes. Your thoughts on LeBron and how he is. I understand he is still very divisive. I mean, in the chat, I think just because he does this with the stats, just because we do the stat doesn't mean he doesn't play defense. There's so much when it comes to it. I'm not going to argue with anyone with how they feel on LeBron James. They are right one way or the other when it comes to LeBron James. Okay. I just go ahead and I just point out the stats, and they are what they are at the end of the day. But
it is what
it is. If you're mad because he doesn't play defense,
let me say something.
Mad because of passive aggressiveness, or as Joe is with the social stuff.
Yeah, let me point out. Let me point out so that people can understand, because I know that there's likely some thoughts of like, Joe, come on, just wish the guy happy birthday. It's a monumental day.
Wish him happy birthday, Joe.
Yeah. So okay. So if it was something like that, right? If the guy had just a normal brain and wasn't so in love with himself. I've seen this happen how many times? I've seen it happen a million times. It was Kobe's birthday. It was Shaq's birthday. Hell, one of the best birthday days stories was Shaq trying to get tickets for a Clipper game in his building. That's the building him and Kobe built. He couldn't get tickets from that cheap piece of shit. Almost said it.
Oh, cheap. Hold on. Where is it? Where is
it? There you go.
I got it.
And he got mad, and he dropped 61 on him that night. And it was.
I remember that was such a fun game to watch. I watched that on King Cow.
But here's the issue. Just so you all know what's meant. Why do you? Because hating is the first reaction. A low IQ person goes to when they don't have an explanation.
It's funny because
we're sitting here. It's your birthday. How you doing, LeBron? It's your 40th birthday. Congratulations. You're doing great. What does he do? Man, I could play another 5-7 years if I want. I won't, but I could. He has to always compensate for how great he is or how significant he is. It's like, dude, just say thank you. And it was nice to have the day off on my 40th. I was able to spend it with my family. It's a Sunday, it's right before New Year's, whatever, like a normal talk. Instead, he has to go through this line of, I could play until I'm dead and I can do this. I. And then, of course, I'm not thinking you're going to do the show on him. I thought we were going to do something to prepare for the Cleveland game tomorrow.
This is just to preface it.
It's okay.
Yes,
it's okay. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's a way for us to explain why. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about right here. He can't just, hello, thank you. I appreciate it. We had some nice gifts. We had some nice dinner. Okay, we're getting ready to go. No, hey, I'm gonna be I'm the king, and if I wanted to, I'd play until 38 and 19. Like, really? Like, it never ends with this guy, man. It never ends. It's always something.
And I don't say I
it's just
disagree.
Exhausting.
With you,
I could only imagine how bad it is to
that's
be around this guy. I mean, at this point, is he any different than J-Lo? This is the J-Lo of the NBA.
And I'm not saying I agree with you, disagree with you on that, because again, you know, he could have been more gracious. Maybe he was off camera, and those are the, you know, the quotes that they give to you out there. But it does come across as a certain fashion. So, and obviously, when you compare him to others, like you mentioned, Kobe and others, you know, it's just never going to live up in certain ways to what others have done before him. And I'm not going to disagree with you there. But Dan. He does hit 40. He did hit 40 earlier today. I want to hear your thoughts on what he can still do for the Lakers at this point in time.
I think he's trying his best. I mean,
Kurt,
it is what it is. You said it. It is what it is.
You're killing me, Kurt. You're just killing me. I told Joe, you know, Kurt, I've asked Joe to go ahead and start his own Cameo account. I really did. And he would make $1 million off that.
Cameo what?
Cameos.
Yeah, you just going, you know,
yeah.
it's like Xbox. Hey Joe, for my 40th birthday, I'm going to pay you like $20. Can you go ahead and tell me happy birthday or something? You know, just like that.
Sorry,
you know,
I'll give it to Joe. He's actually made a valid point there. You know, I haven't looked at it in that way, but you have made a good point, and he's always been like that, Joe. He's self-appointed Joe.
It's hard to cheer for someone like that.
Yeah.
This guy is so infatuated with himself. It's exhausting. It's hard.
But yet you say, Joe, the best play in basketball is LeBron James.
The game is different than outside the game. Mm-hmm. But it's still, you have to support. You're caught in this web of support because this guy's your anchor on your favorite team. But it's hard. It's hard to respect the nonsense. It's just hard. It's hard to respect a person who's so conceited and egotistical is one thing. All great players have an ego. You all know I have an ego. I get it. But I'm not out here looking in the mirror and going, I'm so great every day like this guy. This guy seriously is in love with himself to the point where it's like, dude.
It gets exhausting.
Actually, you know what? I actually don't think he's the J-Lo. Actually, I think he's more Steven Seagal. I think he's in the Steven Seagal area of loving himself. It's just, I don't know what else to say, guys.
Go ahead, Mark.
Is what it is.
And sorry, guys, he's banned himself from social media, and since then he's done about 17 interviews. So,
no, he's put himself back on social media.
Oh, okay, he's back
because he complained on social
Jerry
media
Jones
about the Christmas jerseys that they don't make Christmas jerseys.
That's funny you bring him up, Danny. That guy too. That guy. Maybe he's the Jerry Jones of. But see, at least LeBron still wins. Jerry Jones won one in '95 with Barry Switzer, and he thought, "Oh, I solved the problem." The only thing he didn't think of was those were Jimmy's guys. That was Jimmy's players, Jimmy's brain trust. Mm-hmm. The second Jimmy's boys left, he hasn't seen an NFC Championship game since 1996. Guys, I graduated from high school that year. It was before I graduated. It was that June. Before I graduated from high school, technically. The last time the Dallas Cowboys made it to an NFC Championship game, let alone a Super Bowl, because of one man's insecurity and ego and the love he has for himself. And everything gets washed away because of baseless stats and baseless currency.
All I'll say is this, and we'll go ahead and put a button on it because I know that Kurt in his roundabout way and Doobie in his roundabout way. And best wishes to you, Doobie, on a wonderful new year as well, my friend. We love you in wins and losses, since you can no longer.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Yes. I did want to say, you said Steven Seagal. So you're going to say he's dyeing his hair jet black in his 70s, and then he's living in Russia.
Oh, he is?
That was his future.
And who did his hair transplant? That person should be shot. Seriously.
He's with his good friend Putin right now.
Looks like a raven.
I guess that's what LeBron's future is. If you're saying it's being like that. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is, of course, Joe Soro, Xbox, aka Mark, right there for you from Australia, and of course Dan as well. It is the Lakers Snack Pack. So the Lakers tomorrow they play against Cleveland. I do want to also note, besides, of course, what went on with LeBron's birthday, there were some other notable things as far as mentioned. Jackson Hayes. And Vanderbilt. I think they're varying levels of doing drills. I think, even in fact that, of course, Tuesday, I think was the day. I think Cleveland, you're going to see the first bit of Jackson Hayes coming back into the lineup. Jared Vanderbilt was doing non-contact drills at this point in time of practice. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Coach did talk about the new acquisitions, specifically Dorian Finney-Smith. That he is not starting, that he's still going with the starting lineup that has won for the past 5 games. So, Mark, I'm going to bring it to you. Your thoughts on this when it comes right down to it. The Lakers have found success for now with this lineup. And I credit JJ. Once he finds a lineup that finds certain amount of success, he stays with it. And he's going to stay with it, even with the arrival of Shake Milton and DFS.
Yeah, look, firstly, I'll just say Happy New Year's to everyone. Danny, Joe, yourself, Gerald, and everyone in chat.
Because this is, you're on the 31st.
I'm in the future, that's right. So it's 4:30 p.m. here.
You have the same birthday, Uncle Gerald. You have the same birthday.
I do? Okay. Well, I'll just say this.
Me and Mark have the same birthday.
Oh, there you go. But he gets to see the New Year's happening first where he's at. So
that's right. So we're about... Yeah,
Happy New Year, Mark.
Thanks, boss. Yeah, we're about 6 or 7 hours away from New Year. So Happy New Year to chat. But just going back to your question, Gerald, look, for me, you can't change a winning formula. I mean, that'd be crazy. It's not like we've lost anyone in that starting lineup. And D'Lo was supposed to be the spark off the bench. So you hope that that's what we're going to get out of Dorian Finney-Smith. That's my early read on it anyway. That could change, depending on how these games go. Mm-hmm. And you might find a spot for DFS over, say, a Rui or someone else in the lineup, or if Shake's playing. I mean, I don't really think we know where we've gotten there with Shake, because I used to watch Philly a bit, and the dude can ball, like when he's on. I know Shake, wasn't too impressed. Oh, Joe wasn't too impressed by the name, but old mate Milkshake, he's not too bad. If he can play a little bit for us. So I think we've done really well out of this trade, but I wouldn't change the starting lineup. You can't justify changing the starting lineup right now. It doesn't mean that you give the same minutes to Max if you feel like DFS is going to play more. But right now, I want to see the same lineup. Honestly, I'll be shocked if JJ starts with a different lineup tomorrow, unless there's injuries and sickness that we don't know about. I'm keen to roll the way it is. Start implementing some of these other boys back in the team, like Hayes, like Vando in due course. And I don't know, man, we start looking a lot stronger. Hey, this was a really good trade by Rob. The boys scored a B+, and I couldn't agree more.
Well, I think for me, it's more about saving the money on that. If DFS does give you 10 points a game on 40% shooting, from the 3, then that's what you're getting. Then and plus good solid defense.
I think chemistry as well, Gerald. I think like Joe had been saying for a while, and Danny.
The addition by subtraction thing.
Yeah, D'Lo had just become a net negative all the time, and and the thing that really got to me about D'Lo was when he went back to the bench, and I told you that there's an opportunity to become 6th man of the year, and players. Look at Manny Ginobili in that. You don't think that guy wanted to start? but he did what he needed to win and for the team. And D'Lo's never done that, and he didn't. So goodbye, D'Lo. 2 times, I don't think you'll be back, mate.
So, Joe, I ask you this, my friend, because DFS is now in here. Shake Milton's out in here. Of course, our defense did improve with DFS. Maybe some occasional increase in scoring from Shake, because he is prone to the occasional breakout game where you're going, hey, can he put the stuff together? He hasn't put it all together for a consistent amount of time, which is part of the reason why he has bounced around the league. But occasionally he can pop those big numbers for you. The thing, though, that I'm worried about is when you trade away your best playmaker, not named LeBron, or the guy that sets up everything as far as the ball handler is concerned. We did see the problems with certain teams that we have as far as taking the ball up the court. You saw against Detroit, the turnovers there. I know that Austin Reeves had 6 turnovers in that game. Personally, getting across half court was an issue for him. But against Golden State and what we saw, for most of the time, he's been pretty good. So they are running with Austin Reeves as, I guess, the de facto point guard for at this point in time, not named LeBron. Are you concerned about ball handling at all now that D'Lo is gone? I know that you're happy that D'Lo's gone, but replacing that, what in essence he should have been able to do for the Lakers, is that a concern?
No, because he wasn't really doing good ball handling anyways. He did the year before, but if he's not going to make shots, his ball handling becomes useless.
Way worse.
The job of point guard on this team is going to be, can the point guard, whether it's Austin Reeves or LeBron James, can they create enough space to the open shooters? Can they? Can the offense run through them and consistently keep teams honest, not collapsing, or if they do collapse, they pay for it, things like that. So let's look at LeBron. LeBron is not a mid-range shooter, but he can hit the deep ball once in a while. Mm-hmm. Austin's not a mid-range shooter either. He can hit the deep ball once in a while. Dorian Finney-Smith was quoted saying he feels very, very excited that he can probably go back to the corner now with LeBron going to the basket. Now, that's the key there. They may not be able to shoot, keep teams honest from mid-range, and it might not be part of the offenses in the NBA today anyways, doing a pick and roll and shooting from 18 feet. Those days are gone, I think. But what you can do is, with Austin and LeBron, is those guys can get to the basket. It's a little harder for Austin Reeves to get to the basket. LeBron, it's harder because he's getting older. He can't do that for 48 minutes, game in and game out anymore. But if you allocate enough time between those two so that none of them are tired at the end of the day, then you're going to be okay. But as far as how, that's why he got traded. D'Angelo Russell wasn't doing that, and he wasn't making any shots. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't really play defense. I mean, he was about as useless as he's about as useful as Vanderbilt at this point in a lot of ways. You might as well not have him do anything because he's terrible in everything. Mm-hmm. The Lakers have one more move that they're going to make. I don't know what the move is going to be. There's been some discussion that's kind of heating up a little bit. I posted it on the chat room with Utah. Now, the only problem with that particular maybe trade is I'm not giving Danny Ainge 2 first-round picks. He can stick that where the sun don't shine.
You need to do these negotiations, Joe.
You want one of the look, Sexton is good. Don't get me wrong. And we could we could use him. And we can definitely use Kessler for sure. But those guys are not worth 2 first-round picks. I'm sorry. You can get bent at that point. 1 protected in the lottery. If Danny don't want to take that, no one else is going to give him that anyways. No one's giving him that. No one is giving him that. You're taking on a pretty good contract in Sexton too. It's a good number. If Danny really wants to unload that for essentially expiring contracts, because it would be JHS, it'd be Jackson Hayes. Rui's not necessarily an expiring contract, but his contract, I think, is running out next year. So I think what's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is Pelinka's going to have to figure out probably maybe 2 days before the deadline. He's got to figure out, okay, what is the likelihood of, let's use Utah as an example. What is the likelihood that Ainge doesn't get what he wants towards the end? And will he take my deal with only one first-round pick and then give him 2 more second-round picks to swap that second first? That would be what I would offer. And Danny would be dumb not to take that if no one else is giving him a better deal.
Mm-hmm. Take it or leave it. There's a show called
If that happens, you can't talk like that to Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge will platoon his entire family, his workplace, Earth, to get up on someone in the deal. Masai up in Toronto is the same way. That's why that guy's overrated to the till. I mean, that guy is. After 2019, they were making him out to be the messiah of GMs, and I couldn't figure out why. I'm like, dude, Popovich won you that title. You are basically Barry Switzer to Popovich's Jimmy Johnson. Like, relax with this. This guy is great. He's not. He wasn't great. He signed it. Who's not going to take Kawhi Leonard in his prime at that time for guys that weren't winning? Mm-hmm. Those are not talent transactions when it comes to GMs. That's a no-brainer. And the reason why Pop wanted to send them to North America, Siberia of the NBA, the coldest place and the furthest east you can go, is because he didn't want anybody in the West to get him, at least for that year. So Danny Ainge.
Yeah.
Rob is going to have to, and the reason why I think he could get a better gauge on Danny on this is because he's already worked with him. Mm-hmm. So can he maybe even talk to Danny? Hey, Danny, look, if you don't get a better deal, this is on the table. But you can't screw me in the end. Because if I have to wait, if I got a deal 3 days before the deadline that I think could work, you got to be like real and say, hey, I'm not getting any offers. It's looking like it's going this way unless somebody comes in at the last minute. But if no one comes in the last minute, and then I'd ask him, well, what's the last minute? Are we talking about an hour before the trade deadline? Can you at least give me a little bit of room? That in case something does happen, then Rob has to prepare for a deal beyond that. Look, I'm not telling you all anything that's not happening already. This is not this is not something that happened today on December 30th. This is how this works. Mm-hmm. But that's how this has to play out. Because I'll tell you what, if you can trade for Sexton and Kessler, and all it would cost you is a future first, some seconds, and you would have to give up Rui, which I'm not too concerned about considering you got DFS now. Mm-hmm. You have someone that could play that position. And if Vando is coming back, we'll know probably by then. If Vando's coming back, then that makes that a little bit easier as well. Now you got a point guard that can score, and you have a big that can sit next to AD half the game and replace him when AD goes to the bench. Now you have an open shot to kind of do some things now.
I did want to say, though, Joe, if you ever become the GM of the Lakers, we got to get you a Ferrari. So when you're talking to Danny Ainge and you tell him to suck it, you leave it actually on the hook instead of hanging up on him, and you just like rev up the Ferrari like you're going 80 to 100 miles an hour. Suck it, Danny. And just taking off like that. There you go. But once again, it is the.
Hey, LeBall, do you ever talk without a penis in your mouth?
Yeah, LeBall, Ben. Chill out, bro. No one's on cocaine here, mate.
Sorry, I had to drop that down.
Yes, that's. Does Joe ever let you guys talk? Only his opinion only matters. No, his opinion doesn't only matter. We have plenty. That's why we go an hour, 2 hours whenever we want to, because the fact is we want to say what we feel. And Xbox is on cocaine. No, don't.
Bright lights.
Insulting us.
Pretty ladies.
Insulting us, LeBall doesn't doesn't, it doesn't affect us. So your trolling doesn't work with us. So obviously, in your own way, you're probably wishing LeBron James a happy birthday too. Dan, let me get it to you, my friend. Tomorrow is, of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They did destroy the Golden State Warriors in Golden State tonight. It wasn't a pretty game.
Imagine if I was on coke. You guys would have no chance.
Oh, geez. Okay. You become GM of the Lakers.
You would
drive
have
it a Ferrari.
No chance. If I was on any substances, you guys would be done.
You tell him to suck it, and as you're revving up the Ferrari, you do a line of coke right there. How about that? There you go. The whole 9 yards.
Yes, I don't do drugs. Drugs are for the weak.
That's why I don't use it either. But anyways, let's get it back to you, Dan. Dan, your thoughts on tomorrow's game against Cleveland. We will have DFS in the lineup. We will have Shake Milton available as well. We will also have Jackson Hayes, who is, if you noticed on the injury report I just posted up there to show our audience, you notice one name missing. And that is Jackson Hayes. So he will be available for tomorrow's game.
Just going to say that.
You want my prediction, or do you want this? Do you want the
whatever you would like to say, my friend? The floor is yours.
I'm going to take it. Lakers 120, Cleveland Cavaliers 110.
Okay, that's a good sound prediction. Why would you say that's going to happen?
It's always been like that. I mean, the scores are really high because my sports broadcaster professor, he always says it to like 120 to 110, or like you cannot say 100 or whatever in class for that scores. Like you can't say 102. You have to say 110 or 120. So I'm going to take it 120 to 110.
But why is that going to be as far as that score? What do you think is going to happen in the game that's going
to Reeves is going to do pretty good. I like him. He's going to protect the ball.
Okay.
It's going to come down with the 2 layup shot by Reeves.
Okay.
And I mean, they have to protect the ball. I mean, you cannot pass it in traffic like what Dak Prescott does. So you cannot do that, pass the ball in traffic.
Okay. Absolutely, Dan. That's great. Turnovers, as Doobie was saying in the chat, turnovers is a key. And if the Lakers stay under their 13 that they're averaging on the season, I think that's a very sound chance because you're not giving Cleveland extra opportunities to go ahead and utilize their offense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's good. But rebounding is also key because remember they have 2 big guys.
With Anthony Davis, yeah,
absolutely. So, Mark, I ask you on that note, rebounding is going to be a key. Let me go ahead. The reason why I keep on muting you is because you have the Sean Caterpillar keyboard when you're typing, so it comes through on the audio. So,
let me know. Yeah, no, I don't mean to.
Yeah, John. Joe's
usually like typing and you don't mute me, so I was thinking it might be my fan.
Well,
the good thing is you're not. At least you're not like this when you're doing it.
And he does it right in the middle of one of Joe's rants, which LeBald, I guess, really likes and really wants to go ahead and keep on watching. But let me get it back to you, Mark. Tomorrow's game, I think a key, obviously they're coming off a back-to-back. Cleveland will be, as far as this will be the second game for them on a back-to-back. They will catch them a little fatigued. I was hoping more fatigued, but Golden State really didn't put up much of a fight tonight, which is concerning.
They suck.
The rebounding has got to be a key. I mean, they've got 2 big guys, Allen and Mobley, that they hit you with. AD is going to have his hands full, but so it's going to take a team effort of people getting those defensive rebounds and not giving the other team in Cleveland continuous opportunities to take shots. Your thoughts on the rebounding and how much of a key it will be for tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, rebounding is going to be key. No turnovers is going to be key. But for me, it's like, okay, they've just played tonight. So if we're going to get a better opportunity to play Cleveland at home, there's not going to be one. They're a pretty good team. They've only lost 4 games. So, we've got to sort of look at this opportunity. Like we've beaten teams around us. We've had a good win against Memphis, but we sort of haven't stepped up against the better side. So I'd be looking at this as, it's New Year's Eve. when we play?
Yes, it's a
obviously for
special
you
time,
guys,
by the way. I'm noting this in the chat. It's a special time. It's an hour earlier than
It's a
normal,
special
everyone.
year.
6
Yeah.
p.m. Because of
So-
practice New Year's Eve. Just want to
Yeah.
let you know, 6 p.m. U.S. Pacific time for everyone out there.
But wouldn't that be like a nice way to go into the new year
Yeah.
with the new recruits that have joined? So
You said it, man.
yeah, like, man, I don't know. We've got to be optimistic, but it's going to be a very tough game. Rebounding will be key. But we've got a big man there that can get the rebounds if that's what he concentrates on. So, you might have a bit of a focus for AD to be down low, to rebound, which might take away from his offensive game.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game, but I like the way we're positioned because they've come off a game tonight. We've got that trade in as well. That will bring a little bit of a natural enthusiasm. You don't know how DFS and Shake will go. That it might be, full nerves for them. But it could be the opposite too. And if they can give us a little bit of production, man, Cleveland's beatable too. Like they are a good team, but they're also not someone that I look at and think, there was Warriors from 2017, 2018. Like they're going to lose games eventually. So why can't it be to us? That's my logic there. But yeah, everything's key. Gerald, rebounds is going to be key to what we do. It always is, especially offensively. If we play, if we can't, defensively, if we can't stop them from getting offensive rebounds, we're screwed. We've seen it before where teams get multiple shots up against us. They don't hit the first. They inevitably hit the second or third. So yeah, it's got to be a factor, but we'll see. We've got Rui that can concentrate on that as well with AD. We've got DFS in there to do a bit more of that, help out LeBron too. If Hayes is back, I don't know. We don't have too many excuses, but we can beat Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. I think we can as well. Again, if we catch them maybe a little bit fatigued, and again, if we do the things fundamentally that we're supposed to be doing, rebounding, not turning the ball over, hitting good looks when they're given to us, we can get the job done. But Joe, we're going to have to do that because even though you and I on this upcoming January schedule, I talked about the January 15th. You, Joe, talked about the entire month as far as being an opportunity where the Lakers can move up in the standings or have a permanently better record, something that will, give them the foundation for a successful season to come if they really do well because of so many winnable games. One of the games we just kind of tossed out there and said it was going to be a loss is in Cleveland. But seeing, as you spoke about earlier, with all the teams at 13 and 14 losses right now in the Western Conference, in that mess, which you're now including the fourth place team because Dallas is coming down to the pack after the Luka injury. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts on how important this game will be for the Lakers, Joe?
Will be important, and you don't have Darvin Ham as the coach to tell you it's not important anymore. The Lakers are 2 games away from being tied for the 2nd seed. That's a pretty crazy lineup so far. We're not talking about a month in. We're talking about we're going to be going into the 3rd month here in 2 days of the NBA season. Technically, the 4th one, if you count a few days in October. And now this is where you have to start trying to separate yourself from where you've been for the last 2 seasons, and that is playing catch up. Mm-hmm. Can't catch up, and you can't catch up. You can't play catch up. You can't play any other way other than winning right now, especially in January, because the schedule is favoring you. The issue with Cleveland is they do something that the Lakers can't necessarily stop. They pick and dive you to death. If you watch the game in Cleveland, they were picking and diving, and you have 2 athletic freaks in terms of big men over there, and you have guys that can shoot in the perimeter. Mm-hmm. You are toast against that team if you're not really focused. If LeBron isn't playing defense, if AD doesn't have the energy, if our guys aren't shooting shots to catch, because I don't think you're going to be able to you can't have a drought in any part of this game, in my opinion. You could maybe at the beginning of the game, but it's going to be very tough to come back with a team like that. This is a young team that can move, that plays fundamental basketball and can make shots and has the size to finish at the rim. That's why they're so good. So you're going to have to adjust to what you didn't do well in the Cleveland game in Cleveland. And if you win this game, I said it before, you cannot all of a sudden start thinking you're great. You hear that, LeBron James? I know you already think that. Can you at least scale back that and keep your team hungry? Keep your team hungry. That's very important right now. And more value to guys like Rui and guys like Max Christie. Those guys are going to help in terms of if there is something to be had here in a month or so before the deadline. If those guys are playing well, it's going to be much easier for Rob to maybe include them in a deal and have the other team go, you know what? We're liking the way this guy's playing. I think we can use him.
Dan, JY said, hey, G and Joe, Cleveland beat don't forget also Mark and Dan as well, JY. He said that Cleveland beat
they're leaving us out.
Well, don't worry. It happens to everyone on the show. Trust me. Cleveland beat the Lakers by 24 and Garland shot 3 for 19. He's assuming this game, like the game in Golden State tonight, will not be competitive. You disagree with that statement? Dan?
Yes. What was it? The question was what?
You disagree with what JY has said? Because you said they're going to be on the record for they're winning by 10 tomorrow.
Correct.
Okay. So
Lakers win 120 to 110.
Okay. Fair enough.
And the last part of it, Austin Reeves is going to make that 2 layup to go in and win the game.
Why are they going to win 120 to 110?
I mean, they're going to play like a team, Joe. I mean, they have to protect
That's not
the
good
ball.
enough. I need more information.
You cannot pass the ball in traffic just like Dak Prescott did.
Yeah, no, fair call. But just like expand, what's your rationale there, JY? Is that because Garland's had a bad night? He's going to have a great night against us? I guess that's what you're saying.
Well, but he's also saying that the rest of the team will still Garland will take note of the great game, bad game he has, have a good game, but the rest of the team on Cleveland will still have a solid enough game and support that should get the job done. They're hitting every right note, Mark. Hitting every right note this season. When you only lose 4 times,
different kettle of fish than them. We're a different kettle of fish right now than the Warriors. I mean, we just beat them ourselves. They're not playing well. Steph's got, little confidence in his teammates. You can see that. Draymond was blowing up the other day at Buddy Hield. They're all over the shop. What we need to focus on is the fact they have played tonight, and that's a good thing in terms of, they're going to be a little bit more tired than what they're normally going to be. But if we focus on ourselves, I still don't put Cleveland, and even for that matter, OKC, their records suggest that they're way ahead of the field. I still think they're beatable teams in the right situation. Tomorrow's got to be a right situation for us. We're at home. It's the 31st of December.
And it's New Year's Eve, guys. Come on, Lakers. Focus.
Party time. So, I don't know. We can beat them. I'm not going to base anything on what the Warriors are doing, but I'll take the fact that they played tonight as an advantage. You got to, man. That on a back-to-back, and we're rested. So it's still going to be a tough game. Let's be honest. But, yeah, they're beatable, man. They're definitely
It's a rivalry game.
You don't like
them? To LeBron. Yes. But he has, as Gustavo noted, they're 3-7 in their last 10 against Cleveland. So hopefully they will turn that around tomorrow with a victory, and obviously we'll cover it here. Playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. We'll have the game live for you at 6 p.m. And then, of course, the post game, not leading you into the new year. We're going to celebrate that with our families, but we're going to have at least a little bit of a post game for you. Joe, hopefully it'll be a happy New Year's Eve for us.
He looks really mad right now.
When does he not? Good point. Joe, he's just studying. He's studying. So Joe always talks about him studying. So that's what he's doing now. When it comes right down to it, Joe, the Lakers could make a statement with a victory tomorrow. A lot of people have kind of chided us every time we count the Lakers out. Every time we say the Lakers are going to finish 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th in the standings, they point that out to us. The Lakers seemingly go on a run to give people hope. And as far as some interests that the Lakers can actually compete at a higher level this season, like you said, you mentioned 2 games back in the loss column from second place in the Western Conference. Mm-hmm. By the end of January, it could be very feasible that this Lakers team, with the easier schedule outside of tomorrow, that may happen. Your thoughts, Joe, on how they can make this happen, even if they don't make another trade before that?
If they don't make another trade of significance.
Well, they'll still have the February 15th, but I'm saying throughout the
if they don't make another trade of significance, I think they likely will make a small trade, maybe a couple second-round picks and dumping Gabe Vincent for something, right? Just something simple. But let's just say that the core will be the same. They're going to have to survive 3 more months and stay in the top 4 and keep LeBron and AD fresh for a playoff run in which you hope you don't face the Nuggets. So let's look at the standings.
I'll mention something with the Nuggets here in a second.
Let's look at the standings for a second here, and we'll discuss what scenario we're talking about here. So right now the Lakers are sitting at 7, but they're sitting at 7 with 13 losses, and the Dallas Mavericks are at 13 losses as well. They played more games than the Lakers. Let's say those two flip. Let's say Dallas ends up being a 7 and the Lakers end up being a 4. Let's just use that right now. And then Minnesota right now is sitting at 8. Let's say after the play-ins are done, everything sits at the way it is right now. You have Oklahoma at 1, Memphis at 2, Houston at 3, Lakers at 4, Clippers at 5, Denver at 6, and then Dallas and Minnesota at 7 and 8, right? Now, that would be a great way to start the playoffs. But I'm greedy. I'm going to throw this scenario. This is one of those things that would, if it played out like this, it would help out a lot. It'd be like the Yankees run during the playoffs.
No, Dodgers.
No. Don't worry. The Dodgers went through a gamut. They actually earned their title. The Yankees played the AL Central, which were pretty much AAA teams. So you have the Lakers getting the 4. So who are they playing at the 4? They're playing the 5, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say they play. Let's say the Clippers drop to 6. Okay, and then they play Houston. Let's say Houston's the 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. They're playing Houston. Houston's a young team. They're coming up. I think the Lakers have a pretty good chance of winning that series.
Yeah.
Now, if the Clippers win as a 6 seed in the first round, who would they be playing, right? They'd be playing the 3rd seed, right? Whoever that ends up being. Would it be Denver? Now that gets kind of scary. But let's just say for whatever reason, Denver's still struggling in the playoffs. They end up losing to the Clippers. Now the Lakers are playing at home in the second round. Now they actually start the playoffs being at home. I know it's in another arena, but it's still
I like
LA.
that. I like where he's going.
Now you're starting to there's less wear on the team having to travel, because you have to remember in the West, they have 3 East Coast teams in the conference. That's one of the reasons why, when I point back to why the West is always more difficult and why competition matters. A lot of these runs that the West teams have made, especially the Lakers over the years, is they're traveling to Memphis, they're traveling to New Orleans, and they're in the West. And they're playing those guys 6 games, going back and forth. It takes a toll, especially after a 6-month regular season of grindage. So there's a lot of that going on. I know it's kind of ifs and whens and buts and shoulds, but it's kind of fun to talk about. Can this lay out the way it would need to likely go to preserve the energy as much as you can, so that then they do get to if they get back to the Western Conference Finals and the finals, we don't want them to die there. See, it's not just making the playoffs. It's not just doing well in January. This has to kind of connect with everything in the end, because you have Mr. 40-year-old Mr. He has to tell us he can play until he's 80. Okay, if you can play till you're 80, then can you go run back on defense then, please? Thank you. Appreciate that.
So speaking of the Nuggets, I want to bring it over to my good friend Mark, aka Xbox. Mark, tonight, ESPN, they just kind of like take it for granted that Nikola Jokic gets like video game numbers, as I always talk about. If you want to take a look at the box score, here's the stat line. Okay, so Nikola Jokic gets 36 points, 22 rebounds, and 11 assists. And what's the lead story? Russell Westbrook gets a perfect triple-double at 16, 10, and 10. So, yeah, they don't talk about two guys getting triple-doubles in the same game. They don't talk about Nikola Jokic getting 36 and 22. No, it's all about Russell
ESPN to a T, isn't it? But Joker sort of doesn't help himself because he doesn't really want the limelight either. It's a bit of a funny one with him. Because could you imagine if LeBron was getting those numbers? He would have been on Twitter reposting the box score. So I don't know, like
it's like Jerry Jones.
Look, the NBA doesn't promote Joker. If you look at it, you've got one of the best players of all time in the league. Realistically, if that guy was Kevin Durant or LeBron James or something, they'd be talking about him being a top 5, top 6 player of all time, just like based on stats, guys. I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says. Look at the numbers, man. Every single time you look at that guy's numbers, it's like it's a video game. It reminds me of when I, watched Messi back in the day, and every time you looked at the scoreline, they'd win 3 or 4.
Ronaldo.
Messi. Let's not go there with Ronaldo just right now, Danny. We'll talk about that off camera.
Yeah, that's a dirty word to Mark. I just wanted to let
Danny,
you know.
your gauging of the room is terrible, by the way. You never, ever mention Ronaldo when you're talking to a Messi fan.
Yeah.
Ever. If you think that whole LeBron Jordan discussion is bad, say Ronaldo in a room with Messi fans and say Messi in a room full of Ronaldo fans. I've never seen. You want to see psychopaths go nuts? That's a place to go. It's like the cuckoo's nest.
Now they'll all agree on Pele, but but
look,
they'll all come together on Pele.
It's not a bad comparison though.
No one cares about Pele
James
in that group. Believe me, no one.
And look, what I was saying there is just you've got a video game type player stats wise, but he is a quiet character and he doesn't want the limelight. So, look, Westbrook is who he is. The dude was a superstar back in the day, but that reporting's obviously a bit off. Gerald, but you sort of expect it out of ESPN and whatnot. So, just talking about the game tomorrow. About Denver. The reason I wanted to talk about Denver was you reminded me a little bit of Josh Giddey's triple-double yesterday, so we should shout out to him. And he's had an okay game tonight, an overtime win. He did get a double-double. So shout out to Gids. But, I don't know. For me, if we face Denver in the playoffs, like Joe said, I'm probably not as scared as I was in years gone by, obviously, because of their roster. But Malone seems to have our number, and AD definitely doesn't have Jokic's number. So but I just wanted to ask, we can speculate about further trades and what have you, but even just say this team stays, Gabe stays, and this roster that we have stays as it is. Are we competitive at all? Joe, if we can, say secure a top 4 spot early, and you get LeBron the right amount of rest, and AD doesn't need to play the last 20 games, on Heat essentially to get us over the line. Is this squad, the way it's currently assembled with the trade we just did, everyone fit? Are we competitive? You still got LeBron, you still got AD, you've upgraded D'Lo to 2 players. Yeah, I don't know. Like, is this league there for the taking with this current team, or are we just still, the way you see things panning out, Joe, it's just still not going to happen?
It's. Sorry, Gerald. You want to?
No, I was going to say, did the DFS trade move the needle in a larger
It
direction?
did, in the fact that at least DFS is a better defender than D'Lo. If you're going to have someone miss shots or not be a good scorer, which DFS isn't known as that guy, at least DFS can guard some people. Maybe not great, but he's already an upgrade in guarding somebody. He is the replacement to Vanderbilt if he doesn't come back. Then if Vanderbilt does come back and he's useful for the entire season, now you have 2 guys instead of 1 who can play some perimeter defense. Here's how this is going to play out. And it usually is like this when you're in a rut like this, when you put yourself in a rut like this, like the Lakers have, Rob Pelinka, the Lakers in general. They're going to be either geniuses when this is done, or they're not going to hold water on anything. And the likelihood of it going bad is high because it's impossible to make drastic changes in this league. When was the last time a deadline trade birthed a title? Like, I'm talking significant trade for a specific, really talented player, and it took them to another level.
I was going to say,
I
Darren,
know the answer. I'm seeing if you guys know.
Yeah. I was just saying, Darren, be nice to Dan. He's coming on. He's got the Lakers. He's like a full Lakers regalia on. He's so grateful to join with us tonight. Dan, so let me ask you this, Dan, real quick, and then I'll get it back to Joe, as far as providing that answer for everyone out there if they didn't get it. Who do you think the Lakers should trade for? Do you think they should make?
Did you guys going to answer the question, or am I going to just?
JY says Rasheed Wallace.
Can you guys hear me?
No.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Just ask it again if you can, Joe. The only reason.
Okay, guys, this is important information. Pay attention. Stop playing with your dinglings.
Trying to mud.
Okay, if your mics don't work, get the hell off. When was the last time a significant trade happened in the NBA for a great player that birthed a title?
Yeah. Well,
I know not a lot of people were probably born when that happened. That's why I'm trying to see if somebody can guess. No one can guess. Rasheed Wallace in 2004.
That's what JY got it.
Good. Yeah. JY got it. But I didn't read the chat. Thank you, JY.
I was trying to tell you that, but you were too busy mad at the world at that moment because people thought
you weren't listening. The hell up.
JY was.
You gave me 3 seconds to answer. So
did you know the answer, Mark?
It was coming slowly.
I should have.
Nah. You talked about that with Sean. I remember that.
So back to seeding and deadline trades. Understand this because it makes the questions are being asked. Can the Lakers compete? Can the Lakers win a championship? Can the Lakers do this and this and that? Well, I'm trying to put some percentages on this so you guys know what to expect and to understand what's likely to happen. It's not likely to happen in terms of winning a championship if the Lakers don't at least get into the top 4, and whatever trade they do make at the deadline, we don't really necessarily know if that's going to make a difference. It will help if they can get some good help and not sell the farm, but also understand that this team has put their eggs in the LeBron AD basket. They have to produce when it matters. And if they don't, we don't want to hear about how you can play 5 years from now. You hear that? It's insignificant. And it's insignificant what records that person has. Who cares? No one cares. No one is going to put a banner in their room that says LeBron James. Well, maybe Gerald might. I don't know. Gerald, would you do something like that? No.
Nope.
The only reason why
You
I said
might.
that is because who?
You might.
Do you see any posters behind me?
I don't have one of LeBron.
I'm asking because you put stuff on the walls.
What's wrong with that?
I didn't say anything was wrong with it. Stop getting so touchy. I'm telling you right now, stats don't mean anything.
When in doubt,
results matter in that they're gonna have to put up or you know what?
Yeah, for sure.
Paul Gasol, KG punked him, and we had to wait one more year.
Look, that wasn't a bad call.
Darren, are you asking about what this word is? Why? I don't know why you immediately come into our chat and immediately you're being ornery. I don't know why. We wish you well. Good tidings. Because he said hello to some guy with Lakers regalia on, and then the ultra crepid Dorian, which I'm assuming he meant you, Joe.
Who's Dorian?
Darren.
My name isn't Dorian.
No, Dan. He was talking about Dan as far as the guy with the Lakers stuff. He said Mark, and then he said the ultra crepid Aryan, which I think he was saying you.
Aryan?
If you look it up,
there's only one Aryan in this room.
Joe, that word means a person who expresses opinions on matters outside their scope of knowledge or expertise.
Oh, really? I don't know basketball. Yeah,
Darren
sure.
with the mic drop. Look, we'll give it to Darren. One good point there was the Gasol trade was a mid-season trade that nearly worked out, but it didn't. So you made the point about Rasheed Wallace. Has there been many others in the history of the league, Joe?
What was that?
He said others outside of Rasheed Wallace.
See, I'm questioning. Aren't you listening to me now?
Sorry, I was looking at statistics. The one before then was Clyde Drexler, 1995.
Yeah, Clyde Drexler.
To the Rockets, huh? Yeah.
During the Charles Barkley era.
Because Barkley never won a title.
The way you're talking about that is a blockbuster trade. There's obviously mid-season trades that still move the needle. Yeah, obviously. So, or that gets you over the line. That's happened, maybe not for us, but we made the Western Conference Finals when we traded for Rui and things like that. So, I don't know. What's LeBron in that thinking? LeBron's got to be looking at this going, we've got a pretty decent squad if everyone's fit. JJ, he's coaching the team. He's got to look at the next 6 months as a really big opportunity in his career. He doesn't have many left to win chips. And he certainly isn't seen as the GOAT by the majority of basketball fans. And if he wants to give himself a compelling argument, he's got to win at least one more championship. So I don't know, man. I really think the league overall is there for the taking if we can get a fit squad, even the current squad, because LeBron keeps telling me he's the GOAT. So do you know what I mean? Hopefully he proves that over the next 4 to 5 months for us. I'll take it. I won't ever call him the GOAT, but yeah, I'll take another chip from him.
Well, there's going to have to be because they're down a championship again to the Celtics.
That too.
And that's been the bane of my existence since June. I don't know if I'd be this irritated had that not happened. I think that set a draft night was the draft night was there was a culmination of draft night and the fact that not too long before then I had to watch the Celtics get a championship when I was sure after 2020 that they would be passing them by now. That really, really irritated me. And I'd hate to see the Celtics win again, because if they win again, then the Lakers need to win 3 championships to pass them. It's a terrible position to be in, especially when you had Anthony Davis in his prime, and LeBron still lingering on to some later prime. It's frustrating. That's just frustrating. Yeah.
Yep.
So before we head on out, I wanted to go ahead and ask Dan this question. Once again, it is a Lakers snack pack. It is, of course, Mark, aka Xbox, Joe Soro, and Dan. Stop by, Mr. Cowboys and Lakers Nation.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, Dan. Hopefully you will have a sensational 2025 along with everyone else out there that's watching and listening and our panelists here. But I wanted to ask you, do you think the Lakers need a trade? And if so, who do you think we need to get?
Like Joe said, if Vanderbilt isn't qualified, he might as well be traded. I mean, Rui needs to stay, like what Mark was saying. Keep the roster, but if Vanderbilt isn't that good, like Joe was talking about, and if he doesn't have that type of energy no more, then it's best to get another player beside him. Also, like D'Angelo went, and then Vanderbilt will go if he cannot build that energy ever again.
With Vanderbilt, though, unfortunately, Dan, we are stuck with him for another 3 years.
So there you go, Joe. You have your answer.
Before his contract becomes, I guess, interesting, to say the least, because he does have that 4-year extension which just started this year, and that's not very attractive when you're trying to offer that to other teams right now.
Yeah.
But again, Vanderbilt has been doing some non-contract drills, so hopefully he is on the way. I mentioned Gabe Vincent to Kurt earlier. It was mentioned, as Mark has mentioned it as well, as far as Gabe is concerned. He is listed as day-to-day. He did not practice today, but he is questionable for tomorrow's game with the oblique injury as well. Mark, did you want to add something?
No, sorry. I saw someone made a good point in chat just about Connect, actually. It's probably one player we haven't discussed even today.
A lot of people are concerned since the trade about him losing rotation minutes.
Yeah, which is interesting because you could probably look at it the other way where it was like, well, D'Lo and him couldn't be on the floor together because of their, defensive weakness. So does DFS being there give him an opportunity? Obviously, you're going to need someone to carry the ball. So not too sure. We'll see what happens, man. But still liking, overall what I've seen from Connect. He's still got an opportunity to win Rookie of the Year. But I think your boy today, Gerald, might have had a decent game. Does he play for Portland? You've mentioned a Portland
Scoot?
rookie. Scoot or some Ari, I can't remember, some German guy or something that you've mentioned in the past. Anyway, long story short, we haven't mentioned Connect enough. It'll be interesting to see what happens to him out of this trade, what the shakeup is for him. But it could go the other way, Gerald. We just don't know yet. But I still think we've got to give him more opportunities because when he's on, and I still love his stroke. So,
and he makes those threes.
He does when he's on song. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting development out of this trade because we didn't just get DFS, we got Shake as well, and they're sort of all in that similar boat position. So we'll see.
And Joe, you're wearing a Chicago Bulls shirt. What happened?
Bulls?
Joe's wearing the Chicago Bulls shirt.
No, that's the Brahma Bull for The Rock.
Oh.
Yes, different bull there. I think you're talking about Ariel Hukporti of the New York Knicks. He did not play.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at
I'm keeping my eye on him because he did play in the German league, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm keeping my eye on him because he was, as Joe noted, we're keeping an eye on people that are undrafted in this year's draft or were drafted after Bronny. And he was the only one, I believe. I think there were only one or two players drafted after him. He is the only one drafted after Bronny that's on the roster right now, from what I'm seeing. So, if he produces, we're gonna let everybody know. But on Portland, though, I mean, keep an eye on Scoot. He's been playing rather well as of late until tonight. They got their butts kicked.
Gerald, just on that, what do you think about Connect's minutes? Are you worried?
Yes, very. Because it's the shiny new car syndrome. where you got the DFS and the Shake Miltons now coming into the lineup. You want to see how they
Rolls
fit.
Royce.
Well, you want to see how they fit with the rotation minutes. That's a fascination always for NBA coaches. So you want to see how they fit within the confines of the rotation. DFS because he was the key player in the trade, and then Shake Milton just as a guy that is he a throw-in or is he going to someone that's going to play rotation minutes? That's going to be dependent on his play if he's given the opportunity. Will that kind of get in the way of what the development of what we're seeing with Connect? Yeah, I think it will get a little bit, but it's up to Connect. Can he produce in the minutes that are given to him going forward? He's got to. He cannot have substandard games, even as a rookie. He's an older rookie now. He's hit his wall. He had his opportunity as a starter. He needs to regain the confidence of the team and regain the confidence of JJ. And he's coming off a good game, 18 points.
Yeah, man.
In his last game.
He gives us a bit of an edge too, Gerald.
And now, with nobody now that's supposed to be a relied upon continuous, guy coming off the bench that's going to give you points, he's got to become that guy. He's got to become that guy that's got to get his points because DFS is not a scorer. If you're only averaging 10 points a game at Brooklyn, you're not coming here to be relied upon as a scorer. Same thing with Shake. Shake can do it every now and then, but Shake is not. There's a reason why Shake has bounced around the league. So
he'll put himself into the rookie mix, though, if he does do that.
Yeah.
If he does step up.
Well, that's all it takes right now. The rookie of the year, when it comes to rookie of the year, it's all it takes is just a few consistent games. Like right now, Zach Edey has had a couple good games together. He's put them together. Guess who's right back on the top of the standings here in Vegas? So we'll go from there. But Joe, we'll leave you with some final words. Dan's wrapping up as far as this.
I'm all set, Uncle Gerald.
Yes,
let's go Lakers.
Yeah, let's go Lakers indeed. Absolutely. Love that spirit. Joe, before I hit it over to Mark with his final thoughts and Dan as well, any last thoughts, my friend, as far as for tomorrow night's game? A very important one for the Lakers, indeed.
Win the game.
Win the game, no matter what costs.
Let's go, Uncle Gerard. Let's go, Joe.
Ditto.
Yep. Ditto
what are you going to call me? You got to call me Primo Mark or Cousin Mark.
Let's go, Mark.
All right.
He calls everybody uncle. So.
I know, yeah, but I'm younger than you, so call me cousin.
Yeah, you're my cousin, Mark.
Okay.
Done, bro.
Let's go.
Oh, man.
Darren says Gerald, said, Mark, and the twins. A pleasure.
Well, I'll go because you're going to ask me the same question, but I'll reiterate what I said earlier. A happy New Year's to everyone. Well,
happy New Year, guys.
Going to be a New Year's here pretty soon in Australia, so I wish everyone a really good 2025. But mainly, of course, the Lakers and Barcelona for me personally. But look forward to the game tomorrow. You know, what more do you want on New Year's Eve to be playing the number one team in the NBA coming off a back-to-back. So LeBron's old team. So I can't wait. And I'll be on playback. And if I'm not too annoying, I'll join the post-game as well. So, really can't wait for tomorrow.
And you are going to have the front row view, your beautiful country. I love the way they do the fireworks right from the bridge, with the Sydney Opera House. It is just tremendous. It's absolutely stunning. And you guys get to do it first ahead of anybody else in the world.
We do.
Dan, we leave you with the final words on tomorrow night's game. What are your thoughts before we head on out?
Let's go Lakers.
All right. Good words indeed. Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. We'll be on tomorrow, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. We'll have it up for you. Don't know who's going to be on stage, but we'll have people on stage, and then afterwards we'll have the best post game that's out there. It will, Gustavo. I know you were worried. We'll have a little bit of a post game for you. We'll be back strong. After the Cleveland Cavaliers stop by the Crypt, hopefully for a loss to end the year for them and a win to end the year for us. That'll be tomorrow, coming up right at you. Looking forward to seeing you there, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. And, of course, the best post game that's out there right here at the Lakers Fast
Go Lakers
Podcast.